Hey guys, BoHD here from How To and More, and today I want to give you guys a comparison of the 2013 Nexus 7 and the Galaxy Note 10.1 2014 edition, and focus more on how these two tablets perform and not so much on their form factor, because these tablets are essentially in two different categories. But I want to get started by taking a look at the specs of these two tablets, starting with the 2013 Nexus 7. Now, the new Nexus 7 comes equipped with a full HD 1080p IPS display with a 323 pixel per inch index, with a 5 megapixel camera, 2GB of RAM, stock Android 4.3, a Snapdragon S4 Pro processor clocked at 1.5 GHz, and it's priced at $229. The Note 10.1 2014 edition, on the other hand, comes equipped with a 2650 by 1600 Super LCD display with a 299 pixel per inch index, an 8 megapixel camera, 3GB of RAM, Android 4.3 with TouchWiz, an octa-core processor with two quad-core processors clocked at 1.9 and 1.3 GHz, and it's priced at around $599. So judging by specs alone, the Note definitely has the better specs, but if we take a look at the fluidity of each tablet, you can see they are actually very similar. The Nexus 7 is running stock Android, which offers an unrivaled Android experience, as everything just works and works well because it is an unaltered OS, which comes directly from Google. It is really an experience unlike any other Android device I've ever used, as everything is just so buttery smooth and responsive, despite having specs that may not be as top of the line as most devices. Another thing is that you don't get any spam with the Nexus products like the Nexus 7. And what I mean by spam is just apps that carriers or phone manufacturers have pre-installed on devices that can be uninstalled and just take up unnecessary space, are aesthetically not very pleasing, and can actually slow down a device. So besides the basic Google applications like Gmail and Google+, the Nexus 7 is pretty bare bones when you first start using the device. Now, the major weaknesses of stock Android are the features, or more specifically the lack of features. This is where the Samsung Galaxy Note 10.1 comes in, as it is a device that has a ton of features, both useful and gimmicky. So for example, the Note comes equipped with an S Pen or stylus with its own command center that has a variety of options that really maximizes how productive one can be on a tablet. You can multitask by opening an app in a specified area of the screen, and you can easily take notes at the push of a button. But Samsung is really famous for including a ton of features in their devices, even though a lot of them are gimmicks and they really tend not to be very smooth or optimized as stock Android. I have noticed that when I cruise around a Samsung device, especially the Note 10.1, I encounter a lot of stuttering here and there, and I get this feeling that Samsung has crammed the Note 10.1 with quote-unquote features without properly optimizing TouchWiz. That's not to say this tablet is slow or bad by any means, but judging by the overall smoothness and fluidity, I have found stock Android on the Nexus 7 to cast a better experience overall. But if we take a look at the displays of both tablets, they are both very similar in that they have the best displays in their class. For the Nexus 7 with a 7-inch Full HD display and a 323 pixel per inch index, everything just looks super sharp and detailed and makes watching videos or playing games all the more enjoyable. And really the same can be said about the Galaxy Note 10.1 with its 10-inch 2560 by 1600 display that is the best display I've seen on a tablet this size, even though it has a slightly lower 299 pixel per inch index. It seems like Samsung upped the saturation on this LCD panel as the colors really pop and just look amazing. I gotta say, if I had to choose one display over the other, I'd have to give a slight advantage to the Note 10.1 because the colors pop and pretty much make everything look like delicious edible candy, which not everyone likes, but I think it works well with this size. Now if we take a look at the cameras, both of these tablets offer both front and rear facing cameras that really should only be used if you need to take a picture of something, as they both are not very good at all. On the Note 10.1, you'll find an 8 megapixel rear facing camera and a 2 megapixel front facing camera, while the Nexus 7 has a 5 megapixel rear facing camera with a 1.2 megapixel front facing camera. So judging by pure specs alone, the Note has a slightly higher spec camera than the Nexus 7, but when it comes to real world performance, both cameras produce dull pictures with muted colors, which is really to be expected considering you're taking a picture with a tablet. But this is another area where features might persuade you from one device to another, as Samsung has equipped the 2014 Note 10.1 with a lot of its usual picture-taking features such as Beauty Shot, Drama Shot, and just about every camera feature originally introduced in the Galaxy S4. This is compared to the Nexus 7, which is very basic and allows you to change the white balance and various camera settings, but not much else. So once again, this is an area where if you need a lot of features, you're probably going to want to check out the Samsung Galaxy Note. But to wrap up this comparison, I want to take a look at the battery life of each tablet, as the Note is rocking an 8220 mAh battery, while the 2013 Nexus 7 is equipped with a 3950 mAh battery. Both of these tablets offer decent battery life that will last upwards of 9 hours of heavy use, but I've really noticed the standby time of the Nexus 7 to be excellent. I mean, since battery life has been seriously addressed in Android 4.3, my Nexus 7 can stay alive for days and even weeks on standby, with it only losing a couple percentage points each night. This is compared to the Galaxy Note 10.1, which keeps a decent charge for a Samsung device, but I found myself charging it every few days with moderate use. So as you can see, while the Note's battery is twice as big as the Nexus battery, a lot of software optimization and size relevancy has to do with each device's performance, and so in this department, I'd have to announce the Nexus 7 as the winner. So to conclude this comparison, it's really going to come down to personal preference and what you want in a tablet. If you want a pure stock Android experience and you don't really buy into all of Samsung's gimmicky features, you're going to want to go ahead and go with the all-new 2013 Nexus 7. But if you like, say, the S Pen and all of its features, and you love to multitask with 8 cores of processing power, I'm going to have to say go ahead and go with the Samsung Galaxy Note 10.1 2014 edition. Also, for a lot of people, the deciding factor might just be the price, which I haven't talked about yet because it could very well be the deciding factor between both of these tablets. For example, the 2013 Nexus 7 costs right around $229 for the 16GB Wi-Fi version, while the Samsung Galaxy Note 10.1 2014 edition costs right around $550 for the 16GB version. That's a difference of $321 for improved specs that doesn't necessarily translate to a better experience. So I'm going to leave the winner of this versus video up to you guys, so let me know what you guys think down below in the comment of this video. Obviously these tablets are in 2 different form factors and are made for consumers in 2 different markets, but I always think it's nice to see how a tablet with all the latest specs compares with a tablet or a device that doesn't have all the latest specs. So once again, I'm really curious to see what you guys have to say, so I'll be sure to read all the comments like always. But with that said, that's gonna about do it for this video, guys. If you haven't checked out my last video taking a look at my in-depth review of the 2014 edition Galaxy Note, you can do that right down below, or you can take a look at my in-depth review of the Nexus 7 I made a while ago. But as always, guys, I'm BoHD from How To and More. Thanks for watching.